everyone, my name is Daniela and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I would really love it if you would just check out the whole video, like and subscribe if you're interested. Today I'm going to show you some super cute and easy Valentine's Day DIYs and can't wait for you to see them. So let's jump right in. So we are starting off with four little canvases. These, I believe, are 4x4s, and you can buy them at Michael's, which is, I'm pretty sure, where I got these, but I'll see if I can find some on Amazon and link them below for you. And I'm going to paint two of them with some Waverly White chalk paint and two of them with black paint. Now, I am looking for tips if you guys have any. My Waverly White chalk paint was like super crusty and dry and thick. I don't know, for those of you who use it, can I like pour water in there and shake it up? Will it make it any better? It was just definitely not its normal consistency, and I think it's because I just don't use it enough, and or maybe the room that it stays in is cold. I'm not sure. But for any of you who have seen my videos before, you know that you should put a coat of white paint down on a white canvas just so that it is synonymous with the rest of the painting, because you will be able to tell if it's just plain canvas in the background and doesn't have a layer of paint. Now, I rinsed out my brush. I've got this big, beautiful brush that I got at Walmart, and it's actually really nice. I was kind of doubting it, but I saw it on Sammy Unicorn Dust Designs channel, and it is really nice to have a big, fat old brush. I guess it's not fat, it's just really wide. I made a common crafter's mistake here, and I poured way too much on my first block. So as you can see, I'm using the excess on my second block, which is totally fine. I probably should have used a palette, but no big deal here. I was just working with what I had and using all the excess to get onto my second one. And off camera, I did end up doing, I believe it's off camera, I did end up doing 2 coats of these. But to make the process a little faster, I did use my handy dandy blow dryer to get all of these dry. Now, I just use regular acrylic black paint for the black ones, but you can definitely use the black Waverly chalk paint. I don't happen to have any, but I didn't notice much of an inconsistency in the two either. So now what I'm doing here is I have leftover black paint in my brush. I dipped it in some water, and I'm flicking with my finger. And I know it's kind of hard to see here, but you'll see just a little bit how there's little speckles starting to show up on my blocks. And I will show you in just a minute close up what they look like. But I really like the splatter effect that this creates. And if you don't have a brush like this, you can definitely use a chippy brush. Those work wonderful for this, or an old toothbrush will work as well. You just want to make sure you have a little bit of paint on there and a little bit of water as well. And you're just using your finger to brush it on there. There is the close-up speckled effect, which I absolutely love. I'm going in with my handy dandy Posca paint pens. You guys have seen me use these before, and if you haven't, they are absolutely amazing. They're super pigmented. I've seen numerous professional artists use these, and I just looked up a picture of some kissy lips on clip art. I think I looked up like outline clip art, kissy lips, something like that. And I'm just looking at a few images and then just basing it off that. I created a dashed outline because I knew I wanted to do this more scribbly, like interior look. Now, you could absolutely, if you're not confident with drawing, you could use tracing paper, you could print it off and just cut it out and draw over it. You could use a stencil, whatever you've got, if you're not feeling confident with hand drawing it like I did. But anyways, I'm just using kind of a scribbly effect to fill it all in there, and I absolutely love how that turned out. This is going to serve for our O. We are creating the word love. Now, I want to mention again, I'm totally not sponsored by Posca paint pens. I just really like them. I will leave the ones I have for you linked down below on Amazon, which I was really lucky that my honey bought for me as a gift, because I seriously absolutely love them. Now, I'm going to make the L. And mind you, this is all dry by now. So the splatter paint has dried, and or I blow dried it, whichever one comes first. But just make sure it's totally dry, because you don't want any of the paint to drag with the paint pen. And you can't see it necessarily on here, but I did look up on my phone some traditional tattoo lettering. I thought it would give it some kind of an edge to this look. Since I'm going for a bold look with these reds, whites, and blacks and the splatter paint, I really wanted something like kind of punk rock and bold. So I did look up some traditional tattoo lettering or calligraphy, and I'm basing it off that. and I'm just trying to copy it as best as possible. Once again, you could totally print this off and trace it. You could use tracing paper. You could practice with a pencil first. Whatever makes you feel most comfortable. And you could absolutely do this same technique with completely different colors, with completely different lettering. This is just an idea. I think it turned out pretty dang awesome. But again, you could totally modify this in a million different ways. So I'm going in now with a white paint pen, and I'm doing my L and my E because we're creating, again, the word love, and we're just going to create it stacked. So the L and the O, or the kissy lips, will be on top. The V and the E will be below it. Now, I felt at this point I wasn't sure how to incorporate some of the red into the white and black ones, because it just felt uneven since the other two had all three colors and these ones just had the black and the white. So then I was like, oh my gosh, another opportunity to do my splatter painting. And so this one, I think, gives it extra dimension too, because the black splatter paints are beneath the other characters, but this is going to have the red on top. I'm using a small chippy brush and a little bit of red acrylic paint, or crafter's paint in this case, and dipping it in a little bit of water, and then I'm just using my finger and flicking it on there. And in this one you can see a little more easily than the black one since it's more vibrant. I think this added such a really cool, and like I said, almost like a punk rock type of feel to it. And that is the last step. Again, to quicken the process, you could totally blow dry it. This is the first look, and here is the final look. I think, seriously, if we're talking about bold Valentine's Day, I don't know what's more bold than this, but if you want to tone it down and use some softer letters, some more pastel colors, absolutely would still look really, really beautiful. Let me know what you think. Moving on to our next DIY. If you can tell here, I'm kind of doing this in a reverse way, and not showing the reveal photo immediately. You can see it in the thumbnail, but I thought it would be cool to do it this way, so it's kind of a surprise at the end. So let me know if you prefer this way, or if when I show you the picture immediately, then the process, then the picture again. So I've got this cute little box, like, what is this? A craft paper box that I got from Dollar Tree. And I'm painting with my Waverly Way chalk paint. I'm using all the same colors as I did in the last project because I want them to match together pretty well. So I did one coat on there, which seemed sufficient. And then I went in with my red craft paint and painted the top with just the red craft paint, and one layer for this also seemed like enough. I had a little oops there, but don't worry, I blended in, and you can't even tell in just a minute here. Once again, to quicken the making and drying process, I do go in with my blow dryer just to give them a quick drying process so I can move on to the next step sooner rather than later. By the way, I am a Plaid ambassador, so I will leave their website linked below. They create both the Waverly chalk paints and that craft paint that I'm using that I believe is folk art. I don't think it's Apple Barrel, but they make that one as well. I'm pretty sure it's folk art. And I just happen to be using a different black acrylic paint, but of course they also make black paint. Now I'm going in with a flat or square brush, a small one. This one's probably like maybe smaller than a 1/2 inch, maybe a 1/4 inch, I believe. And I'm really taking my time here. This is actually sped up, but I'm just really taking my time here and making some even stripes all the way along. And I'm using the top edge of my container to really base where the evenness is. So I'm looking at the top the entire time like, okay, am I sure that it's been this far below? I am eyeballing it. You don't have to. I know that sometimes it's hard to do things that are eyeballed. You could absolutely mark them down first with like a measuring tape and a pencil. You could use painter's tape and go that way to make sure your lines are really crisp and clean. I always kind of love that authentic homemade look, and I also like challenging myself and practicing getting better at things like even lines, so I just kind of go for it. Now I am doing stripes all the way down, again doing my best to make sure that they're even by looking at the line above and seeing how far apart they are. And again, this took time. It's just sped up here so you can't quite tell. I'm going to let this baby dry while I create a cute little bow for the top. I am going to link a bow tutorial on the bottom because I am not good at explaining this. So I've got the ribbon draped down the front, or the inner part of my hand, I should say. Then I'm weaving it around my top 2 fingers, behind and then over, wrap it around, behind, and then over again. So it looks like this. Then I have to cut off my extra ribbon on the right side. I leave several inches so that I can use that as my tail. And then, excuse me, then I'm going to go in between my fingers and wrap it through the weaving. So I'm pushing it through the very bottom, close to where the intersection of my fingers are, and I'm pushing it through there, and it should create somewhat of a little loop, as you can see. And then I am going to push my ribbon through that little loop. I know you can't really see it here. It was difficult to film, and I've also only made this bow twice. I will leave this bow tutorial for you down in the description, but once you get it through that little knot, you just tug it and pull it off your fingers, and then you can kind of putz with it to see where you want the little edges to be. This is a double finger bow, so it's got 2 little loops and then just the tails on the bottom. I think this would also look cute with like a really big obnoxious bow, but I went for the more simple look, and right now I'm just putzing with my little loops to make sure they're even. Again, I apologize that it's a little bit off camera here, but again, I'll leave that tutorial for you down below. Snipping my edges here, and then I'm going to figure out where I want it on the top of my box. So now you can see a little bit better that it's got those 2 loops on each side of the bow, and then the tails. So I am just going to position it where I want it, and then I will stick it with some hot glue. I think this is such a fun, bold look. I love that it matches the colors of the other project, and I don't know what it is. It's giving me kind of like French vibes. Don't get me wrong, I don't know a lot about French fashion or going to France, but something about it gave me some French type of vibes. French, but make it Valentine's Day, right? So I just hot glued it down, and then I'm putting my little container together, and I think this would be really cute as like a jewelry holder, or anything to just put like cute little knickknacks in there, or you could give this as a gift box as well and put something inside. So here is the final reveal, and I seriously think this turned out so fun, and I love how both of these are the red, white, and black, really going bold here. I do love a good pastel pink, but man, we just went for it this week, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys next time. Bye.